Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP Envy X360 Convertible model 15-eu1073cl. So I don't see many screws, so most likely we got to peel this up. I'm just going to use my fingernail. You can use a flathead screwdriver or a little pry tool, whatever works for you. Let's go ahead and see. Hopefully, okay, yep, there you go. So there's a screw hidden there and a screw hidden there. Make sure that you actually peel up the adhesive itself. All right, also if you want, you can just peel up the two sides. I didn't know what was underneath here, so I actually had to peel up the entire thing. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the two screws. We're using a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. Keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the power, and I remove them. All right, so we got these two here. Also here we have two T5 or Torx 5 screws. We're going to remove those as well. I don't know if there's any screws hidden underneath this one. We might have to check. Sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. Some of the HP models, they started like only putting a few screws outside that aren't hidden, and then they secured this down a lot tighter with, instead of adhesive, they use like plastic that goes through the case. So let's go ahead and see if we can peel this out. Okay, and we can, and here you can see, yes, there's a screw there and a screw there as well. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and remove those as well using a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. Let's go ahead and remove those. HP always likes to make these covers a bit difficult to remove because there's a whole bunch of clips and not many screws. So let's see how difficult this one will be to get out. So first thing I'm going to do, open that up, and I'm going to get my fingernails in the little gap here. Let's see if we can pop it by pushing on the palm rest and pulling with my fingernails. Okay, so let's do that, and it did pop out a little bit. Let's go to the other side and do the same, and there we go. Actually, this one's coming out relatively easily. Go ahead and do this a little more. Okay, it looks like this side came out a lot better, so we're going to continue working on that side. So let's go over here. Okay, you can see this gap's opening. I'm going to see if I can get my fingernail in there and kind of pull, and no. Let's try with a suction cup. Sometimes a suction cup helps. They have a lot of flat surface area here, so let's go ahead and try and pull here. All right, and that doesn't seem to want to come out. Okay, so we're probably going to have to just pry around. All right, so you can see this came up, but there's something holding here most likely. I see a dent in there. I don't know if that's from it being dropped, and this case just felt like it bent, but I don't know. All right, anyways, we're gonna pull on this and see if we can find a way to release those clips. And nope, so far nothing. I'm gonna get my fingers underneath and then kind of see if I can flex it this way. Okay, there you go, it flexed a little. And I'm trying to like push the cover in this way so it bows up like that to release the clips, and that kind of helped. All right, so there you can see. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull it that way so it pulls in this way, and that helped as well. You can see now we have most of the cover off. We gotta go to this side and try and do the same thing. So we gotta try and get the cover to go in, so I'm gonna lift. Oh, and that actually pushing down here and lifting worked. There we go, we got this out. All right, for some reason the wireless card isn't being detected in here, so we're gonna see if we can figure out what's going on. It's a little bit dusty. Let's go ahead and clean it up. Okay. And we're just going to take a look inside and see if we see anything. It's giving an error like USB device, something failed in the device manager. So I'm not too sure what's going on. It might be a board circuit issue. The computer was dropped, but it was still working for a bit after. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, we're going to disconnect the battery first. So I'm going to just get in here, pull the wings, and kind of just wiggle as I pull, and just keep wiggling, and you can see, there we go, we got that disconnected. This acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery, so disconnecting that, and then we're going to hold the power button. Should usually drain the battery to the BIOS, and then it should reset to default. Battery model number is right there, BN03XL. Right, I'm going to open up the laptop, and then we're going to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. That way the BIOS can reset. Also, if you're going to mess around with the screen cable and things like that, it makes it a lot safer to do so. So take those few seconds, do this, and you'll have a much easier time or safer time working on this computer. Alright, so now that we got that disconnected, let's go ahead and see about removing the wireless card. So there's one screw here using also the JS1 or PH1 screwdriver. We got that screw out. We can now, this lifts up. Alright, there's some adhesive here. We're going to have to peel that off. Okay, so peel that away, and then we can go ahead and pull this back. Be careful because I'm leaving the antennas connected here. The antennas seem intact, so I'm not going to pull them out because I don't want to risk breaking the connector. Sometimes the solder for those aren't really good, so I try not to remove those unless I really have to. Okay, we're going to peel this adhesive up as well, and let's go ahead and just brush the connectors here and see if we have any luck with that. Alright, we're going to reconnect this. So just at an angle like that, push that in, and then drop that down, and we'll get the screw back into place. Okay, make sure you get it underneath this little plastic, clear plastic adhesive tab. This is just to help hold the wireless antennas in place. It's not really necessary. Most laptops don't even have that. Alright, anyways, we're going to stick that back on. You have this little connector here, which goes into the screen. I'm not quite sure what it goes to, but sometimes it's the touchscreen, sometimes it's the microphone, sometimes it's the camera, sometimes it's a combination. You got the DC jack charge port connector here plugged in underneath the motherboard. Then the cable runs along underneath under this hinge, goes all the way to here. All right, so most likely you can replace the charge port without taking the whole motherboard out, but you do have to kind of lift this out. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Best way is to open the laptop 180 degrees so that it's with the screen flat out like this, okay? And then when it's flat out like that, you can take the screws out from here, and then you can lift the screen slightly up, and then you'll have a gap to pull that out. All right, I don't really see anything else that looks strange in here. I mean, usually when it's dropped, it's some micro crack that you won't be able to see. So, I don't know. Anyways, you have the keyboard connector here with a flip latch, all right? You got keyboard backlight connector, also flip latch, touchpad, I'm pretty sure, and then fingerprint reader here. It says FP1 there. So, pretty sure that's for the fingerprint reader. Yep. Okay, you got an M.2 PCIe NVMe slot here. So this is the hard drive, or technically it's not a hard drive, but it's solid state drive. I just call it hard drive because that's what everyone's familiar with name-wise. All right, we're going to remove that one screw, and we can go ahead and lift this metal bracket up slightly. All right, and there is this in the way, but this is just kind of a placeholder kind of thing. So this just helps pull some heat out, all right? And the SSD comes up slightly, and then you can go ahead and wiggle and pull this out. And this is the SSD. It's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. I don't see the brand or anything on here. MZ-VLQ512B. All right. Product of Korea. My guess is it's probably made by Samsung or something, but these are their aftermarket ones. They tend to not write their names or anything on it because it's like not as good, and maybe they don't want to be known for putting those not as good SSDs in computers. Anyways, you put it back in slightly at an angle and then lower that down. This speaker is kind of dusty, so let's go ahead and clean that off. All right, we're gonna flip this thing back over. Actually, let's go ahead and leave this up. We're gonna go ahead and now lift up this metal tray. Usually there's gonna be RAM under here. It's big enough that it can be removable RAM, so let's see. I can get my fingernail under an edge and see if I can pull it up, hold the board down. Right, then we'll work our way over to the other side and do the same thing, or just keep going over. And there's all this adhesive holding it down, so we're gonna have to kind of peel this out of the way, just like this. And let's see if we can lift this up to get to it without peeling everything out, because if we do, that's gonna suck if we have to. All right. And there we go, we can lift that. Again, make sure you drain the battery, because if you're flipping these metal covers around and you drop it on something in the board, you can cause some damage. Anyways, 2 sticks of RAM. Pull these 2 tabs to the side, comes up, you can pull it out. This is a PC4 3200AA stick of RAM, 8 gig stick, so 16 gigs of RAM. You can upgrade this to 2 16 gig sticks and have 32 gigs. All right, I don't know if they make 32 gig sticks yet, but if they do, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use them. Give it a try. If you do, make sure you're able to return it just in case. But there we go. We'll get this back into place. make sure it's lined up, and then click that down. I like to wiggle it as I'm kind of pinching it and pushing it into the slot, just in case. All right, so here you can see all the little tabs that click this box into place. CPU is soldered to the motherboard underneath the heatsink here. They got this thermal kind of stuff there. I think it's like graphite, I don't know. All right, anyways, we're gonna line all of this back up and then just push it back down. Make sure it goes back into the little notches. All right, technically this whole metal thing isn't needed at all either. They just like to put this stuff on there. And this looks like it just friction fits. All right, so just line it up and then just push that back down. It clicked into place. Make sure that screw is lined up, and then we'll get this screw back in. All right, the SSD looks like it just stays wherever you put it. So if it's not aligned, you might have to align it with the screwdriver or something. All right, there we go. Then we'll just tighten this screw down. All right, and let's see, what else do we got here? We got the LCD LVDS connector here. You got a little connector under here, flat ribbon cable, IR1. I'm not sure what that is, some infrared thing. All right, I don't know where that's going into, but it looks like that cable goes to this other part of the board here, unless there's a second cable. I'm not too sure. But yeah, speaker connects right there. And the speakers, like most, aren't held in with screws. It just has these little rubber things with like slightly hooked over posts that it goes onto. And then there's the wire from one speaker goes to the other. So they both connect to the board with just that one cable. All right, and I think that's pretty much all there is to look at here. CPU, there might be CPU, GPU combined, because there's two fans here. And then if you're wondering, there's one fan connector right there, and I'm pretty sure the other fan connector is underneath all this stuff, but I don't know if I want to peel it all up because it's working. That stuff is working fine. Let's see, I'll try with the little tweezers here. Try not to touch the board. And I don't see the cable running along there, so I'm not too sure. Actually, the connector here is for that one fan. I can see the wires going there. Then we got this other one, and there you go. You can see the other fan cable is going right there. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna put that back. And let's see if anything changed. I'm gonna put this cover back on. Let me clean the dust out of it first because it's a little dusty here as well. All right. I already dusted the inside. So there we go. Let's go ahead and open it or zoom out a little. Oops, too much. All right, and then we're just gonna put this thing back together. If it doesn't work, it might be the wireless card is dead. It might be something to the board is dead. Hopefully somehow reseating it fixed it, but won't know until we try. So let's get this all back together. Okay, this, make sure it lines up right. It's not lining up right here, so gotta make sure. There we go. Click that in. Work our way around. I'm actually pushing it down and in towards the center to try and get the clips to go in properly. There we go. Just like that. All right, and that looks good. Now we just gotta get all the screws back in, powered up, and we'll see. Worst case, we'll just use a USB wireless adapter for a while and then see if it will work that way. Technically this is in warranty, but I don't know how long they'll be able to leave their computer out of use if they were to send it in for warranty. Usually the warranties end up taking like 2+ weeks, so yeah. Anyways, we're gonna get this rubber piece back in. Usually I'll line up one edge first, then we'll go to the other side, line up the other edge, and then get that in, and then just work our way towards the center, making sure that this goes and stays in the groove. Okay, it's a little bit tricky trying to get it to stay in the middle of the grooves. But yeah, there we go. Alright, so that one's done. We'll get the other 2 screws and then the T5 or Torx 5 screws. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, again, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. But yeah, other than that, you're welcome to stay as I get the last screw in, or last screws in, and then I'm gonna power it up and see if the wireless works. Though for you, if it works, it works. For me, if it works, it works. Let's see. Let's get that screw in. All right. Some people like to see if the thing that I did worked, but just because it worked for me doesn't mean it'll work for you, so keep that in mind. Even if it didn't work for me, you should try as well, just in case. All right, so we're gonna power this up. And oh, one other thing to keep in mind of, oh, I forgot to reconnect the battery. My bad. Now we gotta take all this out again. All right. We saw this part already, so I'm just gonna do it quick. I was like, it's not turning on. I should have tried turning it on before I put the cover on. No, gotta do all this again. All right. And last one. And the last 2 screws here. Obviously, to get the battery back in, you just push the little tab back in, and yeah. Okay, let's see if it pops out the same exact way. You want to make sure also that you're not pushing on the palm rest assembly, okay, when you pop this thing out. Okay. Let's see, now that I kind of know how to take it apart, it's a little bit easier. There you go. Get the battery back in. Line it up and pinch that in. There we go. Get that back in. Line everything up. Clip that all in. Alright. Get the screws back in. And the last 4 screws. So magnet in there's pretty strong. All right, and then we'll just power it up and hopefully we're good to go. Again, if the wireless card doesn't work, we're going to use a USB one, and then we should be good to go, at least with that. All right, so there we go. Get the rubber feet back in. Okay, get the other one in. Perfect. Let's go ahead and power this back up. Power button is on, so we're good. Again, because the battery acts as the most BIOS RTC real-time clock battery, it's going to take a while to start up. You can see the screen staying black. That's normal. Be patient. The light's still on. And there we go. It says the CMOS whatever restarted. We're going to press enter to restart, and then it should start up and you should be fine. All right, if for some reason it still stays black, you might want to double check the RAM, reseat it. You might want to try old RAM if you upgraded it. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Let's see if the wireless came on. I kind of have a feeling it's probably dead, but We'll see, because it has screws, so I don't see how it can come loose, but sometimes just a little bit of like shock can mess it up. So we're gonna go here, and actually the wireless is on. So that fixed it. All right, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.